What's up, guys? I hope everyone's doing incredibly well. I'm going to dive into a message around the Divine Masculine Collective because I'm hearing that now is the time where they're realizing why people may have wanted to keep you two apart. I'm also getting messages around like the Divine Feminines being part of the Divine Masculine's blessings, or like when they're around you or when they allow themselves to accept this connection and just allow their heart to be. Like, what is the truth? The truth is that you love this Divine Feminine. They feel more alive, more creative, like they could take on the world. And they're starting to feel very skeptical or suspicious about like the people who might have deliberately tried to create blocks on this connection, because I'm hearing like this means war, because by creating blocks in this connection, you created blocks on my creativity. You created blocks on my ambition, on my ability to be able to fulfill my dreams, fulfill my goals. So a lot of your Divine Masculines have their eyes open. I'm going to get into some messages in this numerology deck and we'll see what's happening in their world. But I do feel like this means war, this means business, because they're out to change something, or they're feeling some kind of change within them. Like, you two connecting on a spiritual level as well has been blocked. Like, your ability to be able to just think about one another peacefully without animosity or jealousy or competition. I feel like all of that has been injected into this connection, and many of your masculines are seeing that it might have been a lot on like their side, but they're seeing this bigger picture. It's like the reason there was blocks created and a change in their path towards the Divine Feminine is because that was deliberately blocking their ability to live in their purpose or to fulfill some kind of mission to affect their community or in a positive way. Like, I feel like your masculines are realizing that they're meant to be part of some kind of change in the world through their spiritual gifts, through meeting you. Many of them are noticing as well, like when they met you, they were really feeling a lot of beautiful energy to create and to be something big. And the moment they started to feel that, I feel like I'm getting the messages around hyenas, like the pack, like the hyena pack started moving in, and in order to slow down that vibration or that feeling of creation, they needed to infiltrate like what was causing that spark. And I feel like what was causing that spark was the love, the passion, the connection to the Divine Feminine. That is what makes this Divine Masculine thrive and want to create and feel like they can take over the world. And whoever this masculine is, I mean, they've got a lot of great influence. They've got a lot of power. They may have known this from a very young age. People always trying to come in and test them or break them down or put them in their place in some type of way. It's because people have been afraid of their ability to affect change at a very fast pace or a very grand scale. Okay, so some of you need to know your connections have been deliberately affected by people. All because when you two vibe together, even just loving on each other on a spiritual level, like that is potent. It makes you two start becoming very, very influential very, very easily. It's like you two start feeling a power within you that you could start battling things, fighting things off spiritually. And that's why there's been so much interference. Like when you two think back on each other in the past, the picture that's painted of one another is that, oh, this is like a toxic connection, or it's toxic for you two to be in each other's energy or space, but the distance tells you to something different. When you two are distant and you experience quiet time, Goddess Siege's energy, she pushes you into meditation and she pushes you into perspective and I'm hearing introspection. That's the word I wanted to say. I feel like when you two are distant from one another, or when you allow your mind to quiet down, your heart tells you a different story. Your heart tells you that, like, the truth is that I care for this person. I love this person. But when I pursue that person, that's when I feel a lot of the friction, or it's like the hyenas are moving in to cause some sort of interference. So I see a lot of your Divine Masculines realizing that they're not to share this connection with anybody. Like, now they're realizing that, when they talk about this connection, that is when friction happens, or that is when interference happens. So a lot of them are starting to quiet down. And I'm also seeing many of them focusing a lot more on like changing their daily habits. A lot of them may want to start praying or meditating, and that's happening because they need comfort and they need clarity. A lot of the time when you're experiencing turmoil and you can't really trust the people around you, you can't trust events that are happening around you, but you can hear this voice giving you clarity, it's really hard to differentiate. So I feel like a lot of your divine masculines may be reaching out for protection. They want to pursue this connection with you, divine feminines, but each time they do, it's like spiritual warfare starts in both of your worlds. So they're trying to, sorry for that, guys. They're trying to navigate that. They know that they have something to do with a lot of the spiritual warfare that's happening. Many of your masculines are realizing that they need to start changing things in their physical world. Let's get some truth from their heart space about how they feel for you. Once we quiet down all the noise, how are you feeling for the divine feminines? Okay, so they know that divine timing is at play in this connection, that this is worth waiting for. It's worth waiting to see the positive changes. Now is when your masculines are like taking the reins here. Now they're starting to get it, because there's a big part of them that really wants to just rush into your world and pursue you, but they're starting to calm their souls down. It's like the universe is delivering messages to them. I'm in charge of this, nobody else, even with all of the interference. Because I feel like your masculines are like, shit, like I feel like I shared too much. I feel like I made the wrong moves. I entered into this contract and now I can't get out. And, the universe is like, just give it to me. All I needed was your acknowledgement. So now I feel like many of your masculines are going to be getting a lot of positive guidance around like patience. I think that came up in yesterday's reading. They're going to have a lot of patience with this journey now. Many of them may be getting beautiful signals to just take it easy. Like the first step is to start taking care of yourself, start healing yourself, start pouring into yourself. And the more they're able to do that, you guys might find like telepathy is opening up again. You guys are able to think positively about one another. Divine feminines, you might even be rooting for your divine masculine. Yeah, because we do have that reconciliation energy, but the reconciliation energy starts when the masculine realizes the change. And I feel like some of the change they're realizing is like, okay, now I see, why people wanted to keep us apart. When I'm apart from my divine feminine, I'm not as creative. Ideas don't flow as much. I'm not feeling as confident or, as to stand tall in my purpose. So this means spiritual war for them, right? Because cutting off communication with you, or cutting off that spiritual flow of the love and connection that you two feel with one another, it's also interfering with their ability to express and to experience abundance. So the reconciliation is happening at the masculine's hands because they're listening. They're allowing themselves the quiet time to get the messages now. Okay, and many of you may feel like the passion is coming back. Divine feminines, you may be feeling their love, you may be feeling their affection, but it's because it's happening on a spiritual level. Like many of you are now beginning to ignore what's happening in the 3D because it's those exact interferences in the 3D, the social media stuff, the hearsay, she say, all of that stuff. Many of you are learning to just stay in your own lane, stay focused on the path that you've been given in terms of your own creative endeavors, divine feminines, and allow the masculines the time and space to get hit, get dragged through the mud, and then realize on their own. Because I feel like you were getting dragged into a lot of that spiritual warfare the more you may have tried to step in and give clarity or assist or save. Many of you started to, rein back in and put a lot of that power, that push, that force into yourself. And now now I'm feeling like your masculines are ready to do the same with the change card. And I do feel, guys, like quiet time. I keep hearing that. They're praying more, they're meditating more. They're calling out for help from a higher source because they can't trust people around them. The very people that they spoke up to about this connection are the very people that have been trying to keep it apart by not only just standing in the way, but also at times fueling your divine masculine with, a lot of energy that was conflicting with the truth that they were feeling in their heart space, which is, again, when they allow their mind to shh and quiet down, and they rely on what they feel, messages kept coming through about, the authenticity of the connection and the fact that, they can't deny it. It's there. It's a truth that they cannot, they can't stay away from. They care for you. They love you. They still think about you. And I'm hearing, like, your masculines literally having to say to themselves, like, that's not wrong. Like, I gotta stop stopping myself from loving her, because when I do that, everything else feels blocked. I feel like I'm trying to fake it now. I feel like I'm trying to, like, get over something that I don't want to get over. In fact, I want to expand it. I want to grow. I want to see where it goes. Okay, so yeah, beautiful changes happening for the masculines. Let's get one more from the romance angels. Okay, so we have honeymoon. This reminds me a lot of just daydreaming and fantasizing. It reminds me of the spiritual realm. Someone's allowing themselves in meditation to think about you and to be with you romantically, and they don't give a rat's ass about what the circumstances are on the outside. I can't believe I just said rat's ass. Who says that? Some of you in the comments are like, I do, Twintuitive. I do. But that's what I'm feeling, guys. Like, the honeymoon card is telling me that you guys are experiencing, like, a lot of fantasies right now from your divine masculine, or a lot of sensual energy, because regardless of what's going on the outside, they're allowing their mind to just go there because it feels right. It feels good. It feels true to who they are. And when they don't do that, there is this block that they can feel that's in there. And, they need to release it. And the more they do that, the more they're getting their energy back, the more they're feeling inspired, the more they want to create. So, there's something about being connected to you, especially on a spiritual level, just being allowed to just think about you and daydream about you. That's probably why they're finding time to meditate more, because it's a great way of getting that time alone to just, be themselves. Thinking about you and loving on you is a really important part of this masculine being themselves. And that's why they're realizing so many people wanted to keep you two apart. There was a bigger picture. Keeping you two apart means keeping the masculines from themselves. Right? I guess that's why they say twin flames share one soul. Yeah, it's because, they need to kind of vibe together, even if it's on a spiritual level. They need to be able to express that love. Okay, let us get some oracle cards here on what's happening in the divine masculine's life right now in terms of movement forward. Sorry, little tree. Okay, so we have guilt and we have sabotage. So I feel like this is something that they're trying to get past, okay? Realizing that they might have sabotaged the connection. They feel guilty for maybe allowing others to sabotage the connection. This is that whole message, guys. Now they're realizing why people wanted to see you two apart. Because the masculines don't thrive at their highest capacity when they've shut off this connection, or when they're thinking about you negatively, or when they're thinking that you're some kind of illusion, right? When they're alone and they sit alone and they allow themselves to just be, that's when these positive flood of messages come through about who you are. Which one do they trust? Right? So that's why it's important for many of them now to, I feel like, shrink down their circle. They're being very mindful about talking about this connection, and also just who it is they are spending time with. They're really checking everybody, is what I'm getting. Not wanting to do the same things as before. Your masculine could be Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Take it how it resonates. Maybe that's you, divine feminine, and that could be a confirmation here that these messages are for you. Okay, so we also have decisions here. And then there's our change and our courage card. So I feel like it couldn't get any more clear. Okay, there's definitely a lot of changes that are on the horizon. 555 could be very significant. You guys could be seeing 515, or it's like everywhere you go, there's combinations of that number. It's representing that there's a lot of little tiny situations here and there that when you roll them all into one, it creates a beautiful big epiphany and an aha moment. And I feel like one of the biggest decisions that your masculines are making is like distancing themselves from people, distancing themselves from the exact people who have tried to cause a rift in like their creative endeavors, their flow, spoken negatively about you, divine feminines. Like, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear anything about it. And if they do decide to bring up your name again, nobody better say anything related to keeping you two apart in any type of way. All right, so that is what I am getting for this divine masculine. I hope you guys have enjoyed. You guys take it easy. I'll catch you in the next check-in, okay? All right, bye guys.